Good morning, and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. I hope that this morning's podcast will help you to be more spiritually and positively motivated so that you can transform your day. I often refer to Benjamin Hoff's work, The Tao of Pooh, in the Motivational Devotional because it is Taoism expressed in very simple terms. I mean, Winnie the Pooh is involved. How could it be complicated, right? The concepts are simple, but for our Western mindset, they are anything but easy. Not easy to grasp, not easy to live out, not easy to try to explain to someone else if you haven't grasped them and been living them out. I will do my best with this one, and I do want to talk about this because I see layers of intersection between this Taoist concept and things Jesus taught and things we also see in other religions. It's such a significant concept that George Lucas even included it as part of the Force when he had Qui-Gon Jinn say to Obi-Wan, "I'm sure another solution will present itself." So what are we talking about today, and why would I call this intensely mellow? It would seem that being mellow has nothing to do with being intense. If a person is intense, it doesn't seem like they could also be mellow. Well, yesterday I talked about relentless intent, and I want to follow it with this as kind of a balance in the dance along the journey. We can apply relentless intent to the point that we are forcing what we want on top of things that other people want, and as attempts to make our wants take precedence over anyone else's. Relentless intent is never about making anyone else do anything. One's intent applies to the results, and being relentless applies to one's own activity. That's it. And so a primary concept in not only Taoism but in Buddhism as well is that of Wu Wei, which is simply stated as the principle of taking no action that is not in accord with the flow of the universe. You might easily wonder how I square that concept with relentless intent because they don't seem to be compatible at all. But nothing could be further from the truth. Wu Wei, or in Hoff's book, The Pooh Way, is also identical to what J.K. Rowling wrote about in her book, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, when Harry took a rare potion called Felix Felicis and spent a couple hours being able to read every circumstance for how it lined up with what he wanted to do. He didn't magically force anything, but instead he went with the flow of how things were already going and skipped from one situation to another until he was right in the right place at the right time. Or as a Jedi would say, the solution presented itself. A person doesn't need magic for it. I first came across this concept, let's just say it was quite some time ago. I have made it part of my daily awareness since then, but I have yet to go through an entire day successfully living in Wu Wei, or the Pooh Way, and that's something that is worthy of repeating every single episode of the Motivational Devotional, that we don't come across a practice or way of seeing the universe and flip a switch and immediately change how we see things and how we live life. All those years ago I read this way of living Wu Wei resonated with me, and I thought that was exactly the right way to be. It was exactly how one should live, day to day and forever. The spiritual journey is a process, and to live a spiritual life, learning to have a meaningful physical existence, is like peeling away the layers of an onion that has very thin layers. If this concept resonates with you, realize that you may still be working on it 20 or 30 years from now. Granted, the work you will still need to do may be in tiny moments that come up during the day, but I just want to encourage anyone to not be discouraged on your journey. You can change your mind, but changing how your mind integrates with your career, your relationships, and your habits requires a lot of patience. That part does take relentless intent. As far as Wu Wei, it is mellow because you aren't orchestrating a grand design over life as you know it. You can and should have a dream for your life, and that dream should be something that compels you because it is already in harmony with the universe. So pursuing your lifelong dream is not imposing your will against the universe, but rather it is you and the universe working together to create a beautiful life. Now, how you get there? That is also not you imposing your will against things other people plan to do, and you aren't demanding other people bow to the relentless intent you are pursuing. With Wu Wei, you are being mellow. understanding that if progress towards your goals isn't clicking right along, it's because the universe is still realigning to allow solutions to develop. Your intent is toward the result, but the timing is still up to the universe. Let's say that you have a goal to start a business, any kind of business. You can develop a business plan, you can develop your product or service, and you can do all the brainstorming you need to do for that business to get started. A false understanding of Wu Wei would be to then sit back and wait for the universe to line your business up for success. You still have to take action, but it's more like the kind of action of putting things where they go, putting them in their right place. If you need to hire people, you match up needs with talent and put pieces where they go. If they aren't lining up, then go back to our canoe paddling analogy from yesterday. You keep paddling upstream with an awareness of what still needs to be done, and then when things line up, you click them into place. That's an oversimplification, but the point is that there is no reason to be frustrated or angry that things aren't working the way you think they should. On the contrary, everything is already working as it should for the way that it is. The intensity that is involved here is the awareness required to not miss when things are lining up. It's a quiet kind of intensity. It's an intensity that is similar to my husky quietly watching the backyard for squirrels so that as soon as one crosses the fence line, she's on it. Thankfully, she doesn't catch them, but that's maybe another devotional. So, see, being intensely mellow is perfectly in tune with relentless intent, because while furiously paddling your canoe upstream, you can still be relaxed, and you can still be intently watching what is going on to look for opportunities to make solid decisions and take action. The more intensely mellow you are about your relentless intent, the more you are in alignment with all of creation conspiring in your favor. Trust that the universe always has your back, and you will be mellow as jello. Shunju Suzuki said, "Everything is perfect, and there is always room for improvement." Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @Threefold Way Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support, and thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow. Motivational Devotional is a production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.